All right, may I have a motion to adjourn from executive session?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Snavely, second by Vice Mayor French. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we will move to our regular meeting. And Ms. Barber, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Vinch,
Here.
Mr. Bracken,
Here.
Ms. Franklin,
Here.
Ms. French,
Here.
Ms. Ornelas,
Here.
Mr. Snavely,
I'm here.
Mayor Smith.
Here. All right, we will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd like to join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to amend the agenda. We will not be considering appointments to boards and commissions. So if I could have a motion to approve the agenda as amended without 4A.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Franklin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Approved the agenda. So we will go to public participation, and we will start with 4B, which is a notice to legislative authority.
Thank you. We have a change in the ownership of Zen Kitchen Takeout LLC to Jen Bao Group, Inc., Chop Bento, the restaurant uptown. So this is a transfer of the liquor license, and I would recommend approval.
All right, is there
I
anyone
move
from?
we accept it without,
Oh,
I thought it was time for a motion. I would move, and you can take whatever discussion you want, but I would move that we accept it without comment.
all right. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this issue before council? All right, seeing none, do I have a second?
Yes, second.
Second by Vice Mayor French. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. We have a park permit.
That's you, Jessica.
It's just a fundraiser for a local group.
Oh.
Sorry, I thought it was on consent agenda. So it's just a fundraiser for a local group that's going to last more than 1 week.
Okay.
Sorry.
If I remember this right, isn't this the Cub Scouts with the
No, it's
No, it's a
Oxwee,
fundraiser for the,
quesadillas and hot chocolate.
quesadillas and hot chocolate? That's it. All right.
Cheetos.
does that need to be voted on?
Well, it's part of the consent agenda, and I spoke about the
Oh,
notice
is
to
it? Okay, it's not listed under it.
It's not,
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, it's
my
not, excuse me.
apologies.
That would have been a good place to put it, though.
Yeah, right.
My apologies. Normally, these are on a consent agenda, but we do have a policy that if something is more than a week in the uptown parks, we put it on the consent agenda just to make sure it's voted on. Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, little food fundraisers like this typically land in that category.
So we don't need to vote on it.
Well, we
We do.
We
We
do need to
It's
vote.
not on the
Sorry.
consent. We don't have
That's why I'll move that we approve it.
Second?
Second.
Second by Councilor French. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Permit is approved. Let me throw this in there. Anyone wishing to address council about items not on the agenda or on the consent agenda, please come forward at this time and state your name and address for the record, and we will give you 5 minutes.
My name's Steve Sullivan, 104 Marty Court. I just wanted to make some observations and express thanks for the recent deer control efforts that happened. I was here for a tiny fraction of this, but talked with hundreds of people outside of this space about it. And I know that it was a huge deal. It took a huge amount of work. It was logistically challenging. And of course, this council and previous councils confront logistically challenging things all the time and do a great job. And so maybe that's not so surprising, but it was also really emotionally challenging for a lot of people. And the council did just a spectacular job on that too. And then, and just all the coordination and things, a million moving parts. So many people here and elsewhere in the city worked together to get that done and did such with just such smoothness and great aplomb and respect to all the opinions as well as all of the organisms that we were dealing with. And then on the night that we went to collect carcasses, I got a couple of carcasses myself. I know a bunch of other people that did, including some students. And so I taught people field dressing techniques. We had, we experienced the life that is in death and the death that is in life on my front driveway with all the neighbors and lots of students. And had a great experience, but I was frankly a little bit worried when I went to pick up carcasses that, well, how are they going to be collected and what's going to be the professionalism in this? And I got to say, you guys did a great job picking contractors and working and making sure they had good training too, because every one of those deer were frankly probably dispatched with greater care and ethicness than anything we get at the grocery store. It was amazing and excellent, and it was handled in such a way that all the meat was perfectly great, like excellent, and dozens of people have eaten just from the specimens that I picked up myself and loved it. So, this was a long time coming, and it was a lot of work, and I couldn't imagine it paying off any better and being handled better. So I just want to say a great big thanks to everybody that did that.
Thank you.
Mike, could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Steve, could you tell us your expertise? For the record.
Well, so I'm the director of a natural history museum, and I deal with massive dead animals all the time, from 700-pound bears and whatever. But then also I do my own hunting, and sometimes I'm not successful because I have my own, what I like to think are relatively high standards, and these guys exceeded my own standards.
Thanks for
So
coming.
thanks, everybody. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, seeing no one else, we will move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent? Nope. Oh, no, come on up, no.
My name is Kate Bowers. I'm not a resident of Oxford. I live in Riley Township, but I work in the city of Oxford. I teach at the middle school, but I do not speak for Talawanda School District, just to let you know who I am. So I'm here as someone, on January 15th, I heard on the news that Cincinnati City Council passed a resolution calling for federal law enforcement officers to comply with the same requirements as local police officers. And I just would like for Oxford, the city of Oxford, to consider a similar resolution to assuage some fears with teachers. I'd speak for myself, as me as a teacher, but for my students who are concerned about agents coming in and doing things that I can't imagine. So just asking that you consider something like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Anyone else? Last call. All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Ornelas. Any items to be removed? Seeing none. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consent agenda is good. We will move on to resolutions. Ms. Barber, you may read the first resolution.
A resolution declaring that it is necessary to improve those portions of certain properties as shown on Exhibit A attached hereto in the city of Oxford, Ohio, by repaving, recurbing, and repairing the sidewalks, curbs, and gutters.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Franklin, and we'll go to Mr. Dreisbach.
Good evening, thank you. We do this program in advance of our street resurfacing program every year. We ask property owners to make sure their curb, gutter, and sidewalk are up to our standards and specifications. This is the first step of 4 for City Council. The first step is a resolution of necessity that the repairs are needed, and they're clearly defined in Exhibit A. The second step will be a construction contract that you would approve for those property owners that choose not to make the improvements. The third step is a resolution of actual costs for the program. And the fourth step finally would be an ordinance to levy the cost to the property taxes of the property owners. So this is step 1, a resolution of necessity. It's a significant list, but again, it's necessary to make the improvements to our streets last longer, have better aesthetics, and greater safety for the neighborhoods. So I'll be glad to answer any questions.
All right, let me see if there's anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution before council. All right, seeing none. Council discussion?
So would we determine necessity, do we determine that on a block-by-block basis of sidewalk, or do we automatically conclude if we're paving the street, the whole sidewalk has to be torn up and replaced?
No, it's only defective blocks that do not meet our standards.
And how do we determine defectiveness?
Pardon me?
How do we determine whether something is defective? Is it if it has a
If it's
crack?
cracked or heaved, the definitions are defined in the subdivision regulations. But if they're generally a hazard or will become a hazard in the next few years, they're marked for improvements.
Okay.
And we also have on the list a couple places that were brought to our attention by citizens, right, Mike?
Yes, most of these are generated by our resurfacing list. But if we do get complaints from citizens or we become aware of trips or falls, we add that to the list as well, and they're included in the exhibit. Thank you.
I will say, I did see little spray paint dots while I was running up Chestnut this evening, and it was on, like, you could see where they were cracked. So it really is on like a sidewalk, concrete, block-by-block basis, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Concrete block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 5 square. But if they can be like leveled, do you try to do, can they do that rather than like ripping it out?
If they can make it meet our standards, yes, that would be allowed.
I'm glad that you work here, but times like this, I wish somebody like you worked in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where my wife hit one of those spots on a public sidewalk, and she's now in a walking cast. So those things are important, and I thank you for taking all this into consideration.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thanks, Mike. We will move on to the next resolution. Ms. Barber, you may read Resolution B.
A resolution declaring that it is necessary to improve those portions of certain properties as shown on Exhibit A attached hereto in the city of Oxford, Ohio, by constructing a new sidewalk on Old Farm Road.
Move adoption.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Snavely, second by Vice Mayor French, and Mr. Dreisbach.
In August of last year, the city council at the time discussed OPTAB's recommendation to have more complete streets and to add sidewalk, especially when it's in conjunction with a street project or resurfacing project. There was discussion at that meeting of this specific segment from Contreras Road to 115, approximately Old Farm Drive, of the special need for sidewalks where there are none at this time. So council asked that plans and estimates be drawn at that time, so that has been done. There's 9 property owners involved in this, what would be a special assessment program. This is an extraordinarily high estimate for this type of work, mainly because of the several mature trees that are going to have to be removed along Old Farm Drive. So the costs are high. It's estimated to be $153,000 for the project, and that includes removal of these trees and installation just a standard 5-foot concrete sidewalk. That project is not currently in our CIP, and it's not currently funded. But as a reminder, the council at the time and the city manager discussed possibly a contribution from the general fund or capital improvement fund to assist with this project. So as of now, that's not been approved, and we would have to decide how we're going to fund this $153,000 if council choose to move forward with the resolution of necessity. So I'd be glad to answer questions.
All right. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution before council? No? Okay. Yeah, let's go to council discussion on this. And
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on it because I thought the individual who talked to us, who lived on Old Farm Road and was blind, made a really convincing argument, I think, to this council and to the city that that needed to be done. And it was a real hardship on him to be able to get around, and if there's a sidewalk, he would be able to. I think this is probably the #1 project that we needed to take care of. I'm glad we're doing it, and I wholeheartedly endorse it.
Yeah, I attended that meeting, and so I'm familiar with that testimony.
I concur.
how do we feel about, we've had some conversations about possibly funding part of this so we don't put the entire burden on the residents? You know, give some enough direction.
Yeah, I think
to-
we should do that, because,
I do too.
you know, this subdivision was developed many years ago. We didn't require sidewalks then, so this, you know, at $153,000, the average is $15,300 per property owner. It probably works out to be a little different than that, but I think we should meet it halfway, 50%. And, you know, that'll lower the burden on the property owners. I'm sure when they get notice of this, because we'll be sending out letters soon to notify them, that some will probably come in and object to this. But, you know, if we meet them halfway, I think that would be good. But that will require a supplemental appropriation, and we're going to need to determine where that comes from.
Does the city already have the right-of-way?
What's that?
Does the city already have the right-of-way along there?
Yes,
I
there's
believe
sufficient
so.
right-of-way to
Yes.
accommodate this.
Yes.
Okay. So the sidewalk essentially becomes the real property of the property owner, right? The property owner is the owner of the sidewalk.
It's in our right-of-way. We own the right-of-way, but
The
they have the
right-of-way, but they own the-
responsibility to repair it.
But it's their real property. You
Yeah.
basically have an easement. The city basically has an easement.
Yeah.
This will be in the right-of-way, and the abutting property owner will be responsible for the maintenance of that.
Okay.
I think it makes sense to go halves with them. And in the future, if there's a problem with it, then it becomes their responsibility.
Right. I would hope it'll last for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should last quite a while.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, looks good. We will move on. Ms. Barber, you may read the next resolution.
A resolution repealing Resolution Number 6051, adopted February 6, 2018, and adopting new rules of order for the Oxford Recreation Board.
Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Franklin. Mr. Smith.
Good evening, council. So the rules of order for the Oxford Recreation Board have not been reviewed since 2018. So making the recommendation to make some changes. The first being removing the requirement that 2 representatives from Talawanda schools be on the board. And also that the 4 members of the board can be from the city of Oxford or Oxford Township. I feel like this would help our recruitment and retention efforts in continuing to form that important board. And then there's some other changes there in terms of the meeting logistics and times, essentially making it more flexible, not setting in stone in the rules of order the meeting time, whereas now it simply states that it can be decided among the board. So just taking a look at it after a few years.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Let me see if there's anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution before council. All right, seeing none, council discussion, Mr.
Yeah,
Stovall?
I have a question.
Sure.
So direct you to section 3 on page 69. And is this supposed to say, in the event of the resignation or death of any officer, the board shall elect a successor? Because it still has the chairperson.
Oh,
And
So
I
I-
think you wanted to get to where it's any officer. I'm just trying to figure
sure.
out what
No,
you're
I
trying to do.
appreciate that. I believe that's just referring to the chair of the board, which we do still have a chair.
So it's one or the other, Chad,
Yeah.
and you've got both. And so English-wise, grammatically, it doesn't work.
Okay.
So I just wanted you to choose one or the other.
Sure, no, I'd be happy to.
So if it's any officer, that's fine. And if it is, then you wouldn't need
The chairperson.
the last,
Right.
they wouldn't need the word the chairperson, and you wouldn't need the last paragraph either.
Okay.
The
We
second
can wordsmith
paragraph.
that, so that's not part of
Okay.
the charter or anything, that's just kind of the working document. So we can make those changes.
Because the secretary is an officer. That solves the problem, and I think it's a good change. if
Yeah,
that's what you do.
and the only changes made to that original repeal, or that original resolution from February 6, 2018 were those that are in red. So that was,
I think we're going to have to make some amendments on the floor because we're adopting it as Exhibit A specifically.
Okay, so
And,
I'm making a motion that we, because I would not otherwise
Yep.
approve
Yep.
something that's grammatically incorrect and doesn't make sense. So I will move
Okay.
that we amend the rules of order in Exhibit A by eliminating the words "the chairperson" in Section 3, and in the event of the resignation, death of the secretary, that sentence should also be eliminated.
Yep.
That was be my motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you.
Second by Counselor Ornelas. All right. All those in favor of the amendments, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, okay.
thank you.
Now you have
Now,
to vote on
now,
the main.
now we will still have to do.
Vote on it.
All those in favor of the resolution as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. That resolution is adopted.
Wanted to double check with him first, but
Yeah, wasn't the part that I edited, but okay.
not a big, typos happen. Yep, we just gotta change them officially.
All right, Ms. Barber, you may read the next resolution.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to sign the subgrant agreement described in Exhibit A between the City of Oxford and Inclusive Housing Resources Incorporated to award $500,000 of Butler County American Rescue Plan Act funds for affordable housing infrastructure.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Mr. Snavely. Assistant City Manager Green.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. In April of 2025, Empower Me Living and Inclusive Housing Resources Incorporated were the top scoring proposal in response to an RFP for an affordable housing development to be located at 5234 Hester Road. In May 2025, the Housing Advisory Commission recommended to City Council that we work with them, and you accepted that recommendation, and then you directed us to create a development agreement. So after months of work, we came forward in October with a development agreement. And since then, they have been progressing through our planned development process to build 16 micro homes and a neuro-inclusive development. And 4 of their units will be reserved for adults with developmental disabilities. And all 16 units will be income restricted. The City of Oxford was awarded $1 million in ARPA funding from the Butler County Commissioners for affordable housing infrastructure. We recommend that $500,000 of these funds be awarded to Inclusive Housing Resources New Routes Development for infrastructure costs. The funds will need to be fully expended by September 30th, 2026. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution before council? All right, seeing none, council discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
How awesome is this?
Really awesome.
Just checking.
Yeah.
And I will say, last night at the OSH meeting, we were discussing this with Sydney Carpenter, who was there from the Butler County Commissioner's Office. And the website for this group indicates that this is the first neurodiverse development in the state of Ohio, I believe, or the state of Butler County.
I'm very proud of us.
So,
Yeah.
all right. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Thank
That's
you.
adopted. We will move on to ordinances. We have one first reading tonight. Ms. Barber, you may read that.
An ordinance levying upon the lots and lands enumerated in the list of estimated assessments, the amounts set forward on such list, and setting forth terms for the payment of assessments.
All right. Mr. Dreisbach?
This is the final piece of legislation needed for the 2025 curb gutter sidewalk assessment program. So we had higher than usual compliance from property owners. Only 29 parcels are on the exhibit tonight to be assessed. So we're pleased with that. The total's about $95,000 that's going to be assessed. That's much lower than we typically experience. So we ask for your approval after second reading, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
All right. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance before council? Okay, seeing none. Council discussion?
Step number 4.
Yep. I think it went really well last summer. All right. We will see this again in February for the second reading.
Thank you.
All right, we have no second readings tonight, so we will move ahead with announcements and communications, and I will start with City Manager Elliott.
Thank you. Just a couple of things tonight. I shared with council at our last meeting about the fact that the Butler County Commissioners are relocating Area 1 Court to Hamilton effective April 1st, 2026, at a cost not to exceed $125,000. And as a result of that decision, I shared with you that we're going to explore the option of creating a mayor's court. So the first step in this will be to present an enabling ordinance to council for consideration to create the Oxford Mayor's Court and the positions of magistrate, clerk of courts, and prosecutor. And I plan to present this ordinance to City Council in February. Secondly, a budget for the Mayor's Court will need to be adopted by council through a supplemental appropriation. And then lastly, a clerk of courts will need to be appointed in order to purchase and establish the financial and court records management systems. And I want to share with you, too, that the law director and I had a Zoom meeting with the staff of the Ohio Supreme Court to discuss the creation of the Mayor's Court in Oxford. We learned that there are reporting and training requirements for the Mayor's Court magistrate and the clerk of courts. So we've got a lot of work to do there, but we are moving forward with that. The second thing that I want to share with you is that amended Senate Bill 56 was signed by the governor, and it included appropriation for the distribution to host communities of the marijuana adult excise tax, adult marijuana use excise tax. The city was to receive $337,816.78, but as Tom knows, it went to the Oxford Township, and I have to commend their new finance officer because I contacted him through email, and basically he recognized that they received it erroneously, and they're working to get that reversed. We probably won't see that money until the end of January, but I'm happy to say that they have created an appropriation for that, and the cities that host dispensaries will be receiving monies. And that's all I have this evening, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Dreisbach?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Chief Jones? Chief Dethridge? All right. Mr. Smith? Mr. Perry? Ms. Green? Ms. Barber?
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Mazur? Mr. Snavely?
I just have a quick question.
Yes.
And because you were talking about the marijuana dispensaries, and earlier we had agreed about the location of the one dispensary could be farther down by Walmart, and I was wondering whether that was still valid because I saw a for lease sign on the building.
Yeah, they've not taken any action to move that. So as
We're
it's-
assuming it will stay where
Yeah,
it's at.
the resolution, I believe, that we adopted basically said we still only want to
Either
have
way.
two.
Yeah.
If you move, we'll accept that. If you stay there, that's fine too. So they've not submitted it. Sam, do you?
Comment on that. They're actually doing more remodeling on their current location.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm not seeing that they.
yeah.
All right.
But they do own the building, and apparently they're looking to lease it.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing from me.
Nothing for me.
Oh, a couple things for me. First of all, congratulations to everyone who was selected for the municipal art exhibit, and thank you to everyone who submitted a piece of art, a piece of photography. It was wonderful to see them all. Thank you to the PACO Commission and for Joe Squance for chairing in my absence, and for all your hard work. And of course, Ashley, Jessica, thank you for your work on this commission as well. I bring greetings from Anguilla. I was there between meetings. It was quite a shock to come back in 17-degree weather at CVG, but it's also good to come back to Oxford as well. I want to thank NAACP and the city for the great MLK program that we had yesterday. It was very moving, very timely. And I want to thank the hockey team from Miami, and I think a visiting team from Belfast who came as well. There was another name on the back of the shirt, I don't know, but maybe they were all Miami players. But thank them for attending and for their respect and participation. When I was at Anguilla, before I left, I was invited to say some remarks at the Hopedale Unitarian Church, and I couldn't do it because I was going to be away. But on the Sunday service, they were talking about the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and the history of the song. And so I was invited to give some remarks on my thoughts about the song. It will be in their newsletter in February for Black History Month. These are about 3 minutes long, and I just want to share them with you today because I think we're all having a hard time with a lot of what's going on in the country. So here are my thoughts. Lawyer and social justice advocate Brian Stevenson said, "Hopelessness is the enemy of justice." In James Weldon Johnson's poem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, the word hope appears twice. First, in the chorus, we're commanded to, quote, sing a song full of hope that the present has brought us. Then, in the second verse, we're invited to reflect on the past, quote, when hope unborn had died, end quote. But for many in our country, hope is dying in the womb now. Our times feel dark because they are dark. But the present was dark when this poem was written in 1900, during the period of Jim Crow and racial terror lynching, 23 years after the end of Reconstruction, and 64 years before the Civil Rights Act. This realization reminds me that hope is more than a feeling. It's a discipline and a practice. You've heard me say that here before. I believe James Weldon Johnson was practicing hope when he wrote this poem, and we practice hope when we reflect on the words in dark times. If hopelessness is the enemy of justice, justice calls us to practice hope. We do so by lifting our voices and those of the voiceless, whether in shouts, whispers, sign language, music, art, or the written word, to encourage, support, comfort, and advocate for others and for ourselves. Nothing more.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's good.
How am I supposed to follow that? I'm an atheist, and I say amen to all of that, and I was going to rant about the condition of the country right now under this administration, but I will leave it at that, and that we need hope more than ever, and from that hope, action.
Thank you. I'd like to follow up on the discussion about the deer, the culling of the deer. And I appreciate and understand the need to conduct an enhanced deer management program that led to the recent culling of at least 117 deer from the city. Public concerns were paramount in that decision, and I understand that reasoning 100%. Even so, in the future, I believe that it behooves the city to remain consistent in monitoring our deer population by encouraging local hunters during hunting season in surrounding areas to help us maintain a manageable population throughout the coming years. The large taking of so many animals this month has been a double-edged sword, so to speak. While the culling has been deemed a success, it has also led to several citizens voicing their distress and sadness concerning the handling of the remains. I wanted to acknowledge these concerns and recognize the passing of those 117 animals in my comments now. And as someone whose family hunts to put food on the table, I am thankful that this winter so many of our local food pantries will benefit from the meat of those 117 deer. It is a global problem that human development practices frequently drift and encroach upon historic animal habitat zones. Unfortunately, us moving into their neighborhoods over time has often led to human-animal intersections of conflict. I know that living in a place surrounded by animal life can be a beautiful thing until it isn't. Our own gardening practices may invite deer to the buffet of our planted gardening efforts. One of the ways we can help dissuade deer encroachments into our properties is to plant differently in our yards. The previous owners of my home, for example, had planted lilies in an unfenced area that the deer love to eat. I made a deal with them some years ago, the deer that is, to just let me see them bloom once, and then they can go ahead and eat the lilies. They seem to have heard me, so we're all good. As the renowned animal ethicist, primatologist, and anthropologist Jane Goodall once stated, quote, "We're not, after all, separate from the animal kingdom. We're part of it," end quote. In other words, the more we see ourselves reflected in the lives of animals, the more obvious it becomes that they deserve compassion and understanding just like us. I pass.
I too just want to chime in. It was wonderful to be a part of the Martin Luther King celebration. It's wonderful to partner with the NAACP. It's always great. And it was again a wonderful program this year. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thought we weren't gonna get a second. Like, we can't leave.
Those in favor say yes.
I really do
Opposed,
want to
stay
stay.
here.
They were,
He jumped on it and made sure they corrected it. They just it had something to do, I understand, with the applications that the vendors submitted.
Yeah, it was nice.
And I don't understand that, but anyway, the state
Of course, what I was
recognized it
most
as
annoyed
soon as
about was
Roger brought
Miami
it to their
posted on
attention.
Facebook about
Yeah,
Martin Luther
so
King,
thank
like
you.
they had done something. And it was all I could do to say,
Yes.
well, you've disbanded all your DEI efforts and you didn't participate in the ceremony. And the picture you posted is from several years ago.